instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if it can haunt, hell, or dwell in the dark, we want to talk about it. And tonight, we are actually going to be bringing a list of stories submitted when you were at the Market of Macabre.
Yeah.
Tell folks a little bit about it.
Oh yeah, it's a vending event. It's a very cool little thing that goes on in the at Laurel Hill Cemetery in Philadelphia. We just had one this past Saturday. It was May 21st. And my company vends also with our good buddy Sam, and a crew usually accumulates around the table. Yeah. But this time Ken had the capital idea of, hey, if we're gonna have people coming around and who are in the spooky mode, why don't we put up a sign and say, hey, you want to record your spooky stories? And we did just that, and we caught a few, huh?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I was, barring a few in the beginning, I was at first like, good, but then it turned out, and I gotta say, we got some good ones. We really did. There's like, I have one or two favorites, but we'll get to that at the end, kind of. Okay. And I don't want to. Everyone that submitted was really awesome to do so. They put themselves out there. It was really cool. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like I said, we got some good ones. But before we get into that, just across the news desk, we have another haunted headline. Okay, guys, this week's haunted headline is Lost Cities of the Amazon discovered from the air with lasers. So, mapping technology cut through the canopy to detect sprawling urban structures in Bolivia that suggest sophisticated cultures once existed. And if you can see the picture, it's pretty sweet. The Amazon is one of the planet's last great wildernesses, but legends have circulated for centuries that lost cities existed deep within the forest. And a search for El Dorado, a supposed city of gold, lured many Spanish explorers far off the map, and some of them never returned. As recently as the 20th century, British explorer Percy Fawcett searched for what he believed was the lost city of Z. He vanished into the jungle and added his own finished chapter of the tale began 600 years ago. Now, there's a lot to this headline, so I'm gonna leave it there, keep it nice and short. But the implications of this, Jay.
I mean, it's super awesome. This may be a recent headline, but they've been this has been a thing lately. They've been using like that ground penetrating radar or whatever it is, and these aerial contraptions that I want to say a few years ago they had a show on like Discovery Channel or like National Geographic, something like that, where they found they cut right through the vegetation with these lasers.
Lasers.
And they can just see right under it, and it's they're kind of rewriting the history of pre-Columbian era South America, and maybe even North America. Who knows?
Who knows, really? Yeah, it's so cool.
It's super interesting though. It just shows you that there was way more construction than what they thought was there.
Right.
You think that that there's these isolated pyramids here and there in South America, but it's like there was these big cities that just that existed there, and I hope there's treasure there, and I hope to find it. Just me.
Yeah, you too. I hope you do too, and I hope you don't have to get into a fight with gray apes with deformed faces.
No, I'm gonna have guns with a cool bandolier, and I'm gonna have cool witty dialogue.
Okay, nice.
And a sidekick who's older than me with a gray mustache and a cigar.
Right, Uncharted?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Every time you get a headshot, it goes doo-doo-doo. I'm sorry.
We're good. I gotcha. But all right, so we were at the Market Macabre. This first one, this was the kind of like this first one we're gonna play was the icebreaker where I was like, all right, here we go, you know. And this comes from Shannon. She was really nice, really sweet, and here is her story.
What's your name?
Shannon.
Shannon. Do we have permission to use their story on Other Dangerous podcasts?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. So you're saying first you can go ahead with the medium thing. You could just talk and then we can go into it.
So my hairdresser's a medium. She doesn't do it as a profession.
Yeah,
or
it's just a gift.
like for friends and family.
Right.
So I was living with this elderly couple, and it was my friend's aunt and uncle, and I was just renting a room from them years ago. And the old man, he was like maybe 80 or so at the time, he had claimed he was seeing someone on the toilet in the middle of the night when he was getting up to go to the bathroom. And so we called up my hairdresser friend, because it was they were related to her, to come over and see if she could get any readings of the house or anything. And she came over, and she was like, yeah. So it turns out this was the house that my friend's aunt, her parents had lived in the house.
Okay.
But my hairdresser friend had never met them before.
Right. So there's no connection.
Because the relational connection was on the other side of the family.
Right. No way of like Facebooking or anything.
No,
to find
no.
out? Okay.
So she described, she's like, there is a spirit here. It's an older, heavier man. He wears his pants really high up. He has suspenders. And the older woman, the aunt Donna, goes, you're describing my dad, who had lived in the house. But it gets creepier. So I was just there for a ride. I was like paying attention.
Yeah.
So as she's talking to them, all of a sudden she stops and she turns and looks at me and she goes, Shannon, there is someone here who knows you and he will not shut up. And I'm like, what? And she's like, he's short, he has dark hair, he has a raspy voice, his name is like Joe or John or like something with a J.
Yeah.
And a family friend had passed away a few months prior. His name was John. He was short with dark hair and a raspy voice, and he never shut up. And that's exactly how she described him. And she's like, he is trying to get my attention so badly.
Right.
He won't leave me alone. She's like, he keeps saying the baby's going to be okay. I don't know what that meant.
Okay.
Because nobody I was aware of in his family or anything were having a baby. But
Right.
that's what he kept saying. And then she went on to say, there's someone else here who knows you. And he keeps talking about someone named Gary. My father had recently passed away. His brother's name was Gary.
Okay.
So she couldn't have known any of this because she doesn't know my family at all. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But then I have another story.
Okay.
So my grandfather was living by himself in a town called Pottstown.
Pottstown, I'm familiar.
When he passed away.
Okay.
And he had a garage out back of his house, and he had been doing a lot of work on the garage. Like he had a workbench out there, and he would go out there and work on his little project because he was in his 60s when he passed, so he wasn't super old. And so he passed away while he was living in that house. And like a month or so later, new people had moved in. It turned out one of the kids that now lived in the house was friends with my cousin Brittany.
Okay.
And she was chatting, and she's like, oh, your grandpa used to live here. And Brittany's like, oh my gosh, yeah, like this is where he lived before he passed. And this girl was like, sometimes in the garage we see a person out there. And she's like, and it's this old man with dark hair, and she described him. Brittany's like, that's what my grandpa looked like. So we always used to joke that he was out there trying to finish all his little projects.
Yeah.
No,
those ones I love those kind of ghost stories that something lingers, like after they're gone and our work is never done. So and thank you very much. We
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate that.
Thanks for letting me share my story.
Oh no, we love it. We love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so now this has turned into the Spooky Grandpa's podcast.
Yeah. About time the granddads get shout outs.
Yeah, I agree with your sentiment that you said to her after you recorded. Yeah, I love those types of stories because it's like, it's that little slice of like relatability because it's like, oh, it's like either it's a member of your family or like somebody that was like known to have lived in the place or something along those lines. But ghosts should stay off the toilet because if you're gonna wake up, you wake up in the middle of the night, you got to go to the bathroom, right?
Right.
Show me some ghosts, but after I pee.
Yeah,
right?
because
Like,
you got to get in there.
Yeah,
When you wake
know what I'm
up.
saying? Yeah. If you wake up having to pee, it's now.
But yeah, that was the cool thing about this is too. Jay is hearing all these for the first time, and he wanted to keep it that way just for the fun of it. And so like I would look over at him and I'd give him the you got a good one, and yeah, that was cool. And I liked that she hit us off with the double header. She was like, I got another one too.
Yeah, but a ghost that they see in the garage sometimes. Oof.
Oh yeah, dude. That's the good stuff. And Man, I was caught off guard. You know what? It's funny. It's funny. Does everyone have that hairdresser friend that has one foot in the other side? You know,
Yes.
I feel like everyone's got a hairdresser friend that's
Yes.
that can she's like, I was talking to my great uncle last night. He's passed away 30 years.
My aunt is a hairdresser, and she's not like a medium or anything, but she always has stories about like ghost stuff all the time. All the time.
Yeah. Shannon, if you're listening, thank you very much.
Thank you, Shannon.
Great story. Way to bring the spookiness. We love that here. Obviously. All right. So I guess we're gonna move on to our next one. Now, strap in, buddy.
Okay.
Because this one, all right.
Okay.
This was when I looked at you. I was like, brah. I was like, yeah.
What's your name, buddy?
Matt.
Matt, do we have permission to use this story on Other Daters Podcast?
You do. Okay. Fire away.
Okay, so when I grew up in the Poconos, for those people that don't know, it's like rural PA. And I used to work at a resort up there called Fernwood.
Okay.
And up there I was a pool attendant. And this is what I remember. I was right when I was about 19 or 20 years old. And this pool, one of the indoor pools they had there, was very weird, just very out in the middle of nowhere in the woods. As this resort was just like full of villas and stuff. So
like perfect,
yeah, like
for the paranormal to have it.
You always felt like it was always felt like there was something, like you felt like you're being watched. I know that's like a common feeling sometimes.
Well, there's a reason it's a trope,
Yeah, true. So like the reason there was a big feeling of that was because this building was it's basically all windows, and being in the woods you couldn't see outside at night, but it was easy to see outside from the outside in. So one night in particular, and closing it up was the worst because they wanted you to turn off all the lights, arm it, and then lock it from the inside, and then exit out of the back.
And then run as fast as you can to get the fuck out of it.
And you don't want to run in a pool for obvious reasons too. So what I would do instead, being young and spry, which I'm no longer, I used to go out of another exit, fire door exit, and like literally climb over a fence and jump it, because it was just freaky. So one night in particular, it was, again, like I was like 19 or 20. It was winter. It was just like a really weird noises going on from outside, like something from the windows. You could hear it from the walls on the outside. So I closed the pool up early that night, and as I was doing my normal routine, opposed to other pool attendants, I would lock the door, and then from the inside, then turn off all the lights, and then instead of going out the back way, I would go up my other fire exit way, jump the fence. And this time when I did it, I turned off the lights, opened the door, and just I didn't see it full on like straight ahead. I only saw in my
Peripherals, there it is.
So I turned and I just hear this like loud screeching, and this in my peripheral, I can only describe this thing as like a humanoid, hairless, pale, clothless thing on all fours, and like almost like a spider charging at me. I've never ran so fast in my life, and I jumped over the fence. And then it ran into the fence.
It ran into the fence.
So it's not a ghost story necessarily.
No, man.
And I didn't look back, and I sprinted as fast as I could to my car. And I cried too because I was terrified of what I saw.
Bro, I'd be peeing myself. I'd be.
Yeah, and I didn't tell anybody about that for years because I didn't believe it was true. And like if somebody was to tell me that, I wouldn't believe it. And I don't blame people that don't believe it, but I don't know what I saw, and I know what I saw was there, and it had mass, dude. Like, it hit the fence, and that's all I got.
Yeah, dude, that's.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah,
that's a good
it was
story.
weird.
So, and you said you still like. When you think about it, you still get that blood run colds kind of feeling?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, because like I don't know if it was like something.
Your rational brain tries to justify.
I do. If it was like something spiritual, something like, an apparition, if it will. I think well, if it wanted to hurt me, it could have. It should have.
And then like it hit a fence too.
It hit the fence.
You're like,
it hit the fence. So
wow.
I've told this to a few other people. My one good buddy, I told it to years later. And then his brother-in-law, who's a lot younger than I am, he said that he saw something similar years ago, and him and I have never talked before.
Same place?
Same general, like 10 minutes away.
Yeah, okay.
10 minutes
same.
away.
Wow.
10-minute drive. So.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what we saw. I don't know what it was. Don't know. Don't like to think about it every now and again, so it freaks me out a little bit.
Well, thank you for telling us, man.
Yeah.
We he's going to fucking love that.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you guys, I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, we will. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, so Matt, man.
Well, first up, I did fucking love that quite a bit. All right, so a couple things on that one. First of all, isolated mountain, resort kind of thing. Like, my brother lives up in the Poconos, so like I know exactly where he's talking about. And I think I know that one. I've never been into it, but I've seen the sign. Maybe it's just me, but like fucking Poconos are kind of spooky. Like, my brother lives on a mountain, like on the top of a fucking mountain, and like. Aside from the fact that you can't go out at night by yourself because bears will come get you, like it's got that spooky, like, you see all the names, you see all the Native American names. So like when I see these, like, I don't know, man, when I hear this story, all I think of is like some kind of, to pull a line from Lord of the Rings, like it's a demon of the old world. You know what I mean? Like something that was here before, before the blue-eyed devil showed up.
Yeah, we continued talking a little bit. Like I said, Matt was cool, and his girlfriend was like, she was like adding a couple little things. She was like, and you also said, this was like, because I was already done recording, I wasn't gonna pull it back out and be like, oh, add this, and because I figured we captured it, but apparently the thing didn't have a mouth or nose.
Interesting.
That he can recall. He's like, he like kind of was like, yeah, but like. I didn't see it full on, so I don't want to like add that in unnecessarily.
But it hit the fence, so it had mass.
Yeah.
So that's. I mean, dude, that's. I don't know. That's for some reason that kind of stuff gets me. I mean, he didn't say in his story that it had like a Native American like component, but that comes to me like
exactly. So he started asking me, him and his girlfriend, they started going, so what, like, cause you do this, right? Like I'm like, well, yeah, we. He's like, I'm telling a couple people they brought up a Wendigo, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, man, yeah. I was like,
what I was gonna say.
Right. And I was like, I was like, what could we say? And I was like, he even brought up a skinwalker. I think one of them I did, but I was like, that's out and
that's out in the Southwest.
Yeah, the Southwest. And but like then he brought up the rake, and I was like, yeah, but that's more of an
internet character.
Yeah, I was like, that's not a real like. I was like that just got legs like in the last like 10 years, and I was like, if anything, Wendigo.
I mean, you can say rake. That could just be another name for what this is. Rake could just be another name for Wendigo / spirit of hunger, whatever it is. But this creature, whatever this thing is, this one that it pops up in a lot of stories, right? This weird white, like bone white.
Yeah, like emaciated.
Yeah, emaciated, kind of like humanoid. I mean this is the original description of what a Wendigo was. All the antlers shit, that's like recent. Like people, like movies started that. Yeah. This is what what I'm saying. Like that's why my mind goes there, because this is this is what the original descriptions were.
And it's funny, when we were continuing to talk, I brought up your one of those things from something ancient that just comes out of the dark and reminds us that. I said that to him. I was like, he quoted that on one of the things we were talking about. But Matt was definitely cool. His girlfriend was cool. Yeah, man, it was a great. That's fucking scary, man.
Yeah. No, it is, because think about it. I mean, and that's a good that you bring that point up, because you're at a resort in the Poconos. You don't think that you're going to come face to face with something other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something that just doesn't doesn't fit into your your conception of what the world is and how it works.
And he made it a point to say that the property, it's like all windows. So like you're there at night and you're turning all the lights. You know what I mean? Because even when you have the lights on, it's like looking out from in. You're like, something like this is not good.
Yeah.
You get that feeling, and it just sets you up for it. And he was really forthcoming. That was cool that he he admitted, he's like, dude, I ran out and cried. Like it was, I was like, yeah, dude, I would fucking be too, probably, man. Like I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's not. You're not expecting that to happen. You know what I mean? Like if you get chased by a bear or some kind of animal, you're not expecting that, but you can at least be like, okay, well, I fucked up and I wasn't watching, and there's wildlife in this area. You know, you don't expect a creature to run after you.
Exactly. And then hit the fence.
And then hit the fucking fence.
Like that's
crazy.
Like him being able to get over there, and like get get away. That must have been the most satisfying part of it all. Like.
Now here's kind of a weird thing. I don't know if they're in the area. I think they might be, but I could be mistaken. But like he describes it as white, right? Mm-hmm. So and we'll discount the no mouth, no eyes thing. If this was a mountain lion, imagine if you have floodlights on it could appear kind of white, and it's going
Right.
really fucking fast.
Right.
I'm not trying to discount his story, but I like to just have that other side to it. Like
Yeah.
they go real fast, like cats, like big cats like that. They close in quick. So it just reminds me of some of those trail cam footage you see. Like you see the one where like the deer is like running, and then like out of the other side of the frame, the fucking mountain lion just collides with the deer. It's just all a blur.
Yeah.
Like I just thought of that because he said it was kind of almost like a spider. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's on all
Yeah.
fours and it's just coming real fast. I don't know. I just thought of that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm open to either.
Yeah.
I mean, I want it to be the creature,
Yeah.
Matt. I want it to be the creature.
and yeah, Matt, seriously, thanks again. That was a great
Yeah, buddy,
story.
thank you.
Okay, so let's Matt, good on Matt. All right, yeah. So this next one,
Just the Jimmy story.
this is the Jimmy story.
Okay.
Jimmy is a buddy of mine who, you know, showed up. Him and his girlfriend Allie.
Okay.
And they both dropped a couple dimes on us.
Yeah. I didn't hear their stories yet, but I was talking to them for a bit.
All right, so here is Jimmy's story.
All right, what's your name?
Jimmy Fox.
I thought you were Peter Mackerel.
I am Peter Mackerel.
Oh, wait, hold on one second.
Restart it. Let's go.
So what's your name?
Peter
I
Mackerel.
thought you were Jimmy Fox.
It's my CIA name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, stop. All right. So, when I was about in 6th grade, which I don't know what the age of that is, had a neighbor.
It's like 11, 12.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Had a neighbor. His name is Scott. Dad went over there. He was he's a pest worker.
Like exterminator? or something?
Exterminator,
Yeah.
He doesn't believe in ghosts. He
Pest, but pest workers like the PC version of it?
doesn't- right.
Okay.
So you're not exterminating.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
exterminating sounds bad.
Yeah, I got you.
He doesn't believe in ghosts. My mom used to love John Edwards. We all know he's a
Yeah.
bullshit artist.
Yeah.
But she loved him. And my dad was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, crossing
This-
over with John Edwards, yeah.
This whole ghost shit is bull. He's Catholic. So he doesn't
Yeah,
believe
yeah, yeah. Studied Catholic.
Right.
Right.
Very,
Yeah.
very into the Catholic.
Yeah, yeah.
He goes over to my neighbor's house for spiders.
Okay.
Spiders.
Ugh.
Yeah. Can't get rid of spiders, but he was like, I'll just go over, appease them, whatever. They're
Yeah.
sitting there shooting the shit. And he keeps looking in the corner of my neighbor's living room.
Yeah.
He's like, I saw a person. And he just wasn't, the dude wasn't communicating with anyone. He's like, I figured it was an aunt, uncle,
Yeah.
something like that. Like
Just
a
creepy,
extended
weird guy that
Right,
lives
right.
there,
Doesn't
yeah.
want to talk,
Yeah.
whatever. So he leaves, and he's like, who's that guy in your dining room? And my neighbor's like, what guy in my dining room? He's like, there was a dude in your dining room staring at us the entire time, and he didn't say anything to us. So he's like, what do you look like? Dad explains the guy. My neighbor's like, wait here. They're outside at this point. He goes upstairs and grabs a picture of his grandfather. He's like, is this a guy? He's like, that is the guy. And he's like, he's been dead for 20 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
Love it.
And my dad came home pale-faced. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think I believe in this shit now.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes all it takes is one, man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Those are the good ones, man.
Yep,
Those are the good
especially
ones.
coming from a skeptic. And,
Yeah.
You know, he's very insistent on what he saw.
Right.
He's
Right.
like, that guy was there, clear as day. There was a dude in the room. He wasn't talking to us. It was fucking weird.
Yeah.
And it ends up being
This guy's grandfather.
grandfather. Yep. And the grandfather also died in the house. So,
There you go.
yep.
There you go.
Yep.
All the workings of a haunting. Here reporting at Laurel Hill Cemetery, I'm Ken James with Jimmy Fox. And this has been a ghost story.
Peter Mackerel.
Peter Mackerel. And this has been a ghost story.
Yeah, man. So here we are when a skeptic encounters the paranormal for the first time.
Yeah, a dude just standing in your corner. Also another grandpa, huh?
Bout 'em up in time.
Why is grandpa gonna be creeping?
Right, and he was just straight up creeping on watching like the exterminator. You know what he was probably doing? He was probably like waiting to tell him how to do his job better, you know? Even if he's not in the field, you know, he still
100%,
knows.
and then he's gonna tell you, I was in the trades for 40 years, you know,
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
totally just. Oh, what local you're in? Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
all you're
yeah,
trying. You're
yeah,
just
all
trying to
that
ask
too.
those questions. Yeah.
He's like, now, what do you use to check your tire pressure? Because, you know,
Yeah.
you got to keep them all 36, 38, or, you know, like,
Yeah, I saw you keep your tools are really dirty. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the workman's
hey.
as good as his tools. I mean,
yeah,
it's like okay, grandpa, go back in the kitchen.
yeah. Go stand in the corner again. Yeah.
Yeah.
With any brought, I love the, you know, the bring the picture out, of course, and then the, you know, You know, 20 years. Yeah, every
It
time.
was a
Ghost. Yeah, I love it. Love
Mm-hmm.
it. Jimmy, thank you, my friend. Wonderful.
Thanks,
story.
Jimmy. Good stuff.
Yeah, man. He's a good shit. That Jimmy.
He's a
All right,
good
now-
shit, so we don't break his balls too much.
Yeah, no, we don't break his balls too much. Yeah, okay. So this one is from Allie. They're Jimmy and Allie are in a relationship. She is also a good shit, and here is her story. Okay. Okay. What is your name?
Allie Connors.
Allie. What is your ghost story?
Well, so I grew up in Georgia in Coweta County. So our house was the first built there in that area of the neighborhood that we're aware of.
Right.
We were there through the building. However, the land, we decided there was enough feelings of something going on that we decided to use my aunt's old BlackBerry, so early 2000s.
Yeah. Scroll wheel
which is
on it.
always which is always the best I found for looking at potential paranormal coming through.
Okay.
Because I feel like current day it's too high def. It
Yeah.
pushes it out. The old one, it was a little easier to manipulate the electricity.
idea.
that came through
Yeah,
it. So we were looking through, just had the camera open. We decided, there's enough weird shit going on around here. Like baby toys would go off on their own. Our dog would bark at them and freak out. Let's just walk around the house. So we saw a few like weird light anomalies against walls and such, like that looked like they were moving and like bursting from a center point. But at one point, we just decided, maybe we saw all we could see. There was a hallway. If you looked out from our kitchen in our living room, there was a hallway, and that's where our laundry room and all the bedrooms were, because it was a rancher. And my mom started walking out with her laundry basket. 'Cause she's like, fuck this, I'm gonna get some shit done.
Right. Like you do.
My aunt still had the phone on. And she says, stop, right there, to my mom. And she says, you guys gotta come see. We come all around, and there is, clear as day, a grayish face sitting right over the shoulder of my mom. Just the face. You can't see anything beyond that. But we wouldn't let her move.
Right.
And of course, taking pictures, it didn't come up. But as the camera was open, it was just this face sitting over my mom's shoulder. My mom's
Dude, I just
not
get
too
the chills.
She's
That's
about my
awful.
height, 5'6". They were at least, if they were bending, at least 5'10", 5'11".
I like to point out she shuddered when she said that part. She shuddered a bit there.
I still can see it in my head, and it was a distinct face, but just gray and gray.
I hate it.
And
Why is that
we have
so
no
disturbing?
idea.
Gray. Why is that? There's something
It's
about
the paleness of death.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
It was like I'm not gonna say impressionist, but it was like you could see, like, if it was made out of pastels almost, you could see how clear it was, and like that kind of rigidity of the different colors of the grayness throughout it. I think it would have been better if I could have seen a body with it, but that alas was not to be. But we all just kind of sat there and watched it until eventually my mom's like, all right, like, I don't want to stand here with this thing over me, and also I'm doing laundry.
Right.
But eventually it just kind of faded away. We made her stay there until
it was gone.
Until it was gone, and when it was gone, it just was gone.
Oof.
And there was about myself, my other brother, my aunt, and then we had a few friends over, and we all were just piled behind my aunt looking at her phone and saw this. And it's still not something I've never seen something as clear today as that. And it's still a little chills.
Still has that. Well, Allie, thank you for that story, and we look forward to using that on Another Dangerous Podcast. That is a ghost story.
You're looking at me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Allie. I hate it.
Yeah, hate it. Oof.
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 A gray face.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's like some Captain Howdy shit from The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Like just a face.
Yep. Just a face.
Ugh.
Pre filters,
Yeah. Oh, like ones where your friend puts his face under the covers or in a teddy bear outfit.
Yeah, my favorite.
That's legitimately terrifying.
And I pointed out when like she was recalling it, I just saw her go back there, like in her head, and like literally she was like
Yeah,
it hit
that's
her.
awful.
And I had to be like, ladies and gentlemen, she just shuddered. Like,
Yeah, and then they say Georgia, so you know, I don't know where she's talking about, but immediately it just makes me think, oh, Civil War ghost.
right.
Like, you know,
Right.
dead Confederate soldier just trying to get his point across.
Yeah.
Oof.
Right.
And I like that, you know, the whole BlackBerry thing. Like, it was like, you know, you can't have too high def, or it like doesn't, you know, because then it's like face finding software, and then like it makes the ghost face look sad, like extra sad.
Yeah. Or now does that like one they're doing now, where it's like,
Yeah, that one.
yeah.
Yep. Mocking ghosts in the afterlife. I'm sure that'll go over well.
Yeah. No. It just, you know, that is a good theory. I think the whole like maybe they had something with that like all the components of those old phones. They were like, you know, like right on that spectrum of like, ooh, there's something cutting through here.
I think it's because like the recording equipment now is so like pristine that there's no white noise left over. So I think maybe that you need that white noise a little bit in there to help or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. Like just trying to do laundry, and here comes this fucking face.
Like, wouldn't like after a while it would just like first it would be fucking terrifying, but after a while you'd be like, dude, could we not?
Yeah, like go,
like go do something.
Yeah,
like
help
if you're
with
gonna
the fucking laundry, you ass.
Yeah, so you help with the laundry, or like help. You know, let's play pranks on people. Put that face in the toilet when someone opens it, like something.
What that would be that's a prank.
Yeah, it is. Then you're actually like peeing. If you're a dude, you're peeing on a ghost face. It's just like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, and you're like, at first you're like scared, but then you're like, take it.
Gray, now you're a yellow face.
Low hanging fruit.
Yeah, man, it's just whatever, man. It's late here at Other Dangerous Podcasts.
You're right. Yeah, Allie, though, thank you very much. That was great story. Good stuff. Faces. I used to work at this laser tag place in the Neshaminy Valley, which is, you know, Native Americans. That was their big thing.
Laser tag was the Native Americans thing?
No, Neshaminy, the Neshaminy Indians. It's named, it's Ben Salem now, but it was Neshaminy. Okay. Well,
it's fine.
I'm saying it for those who don't know that are listening.
Oh, all right.
But that people would say they see a face in yellow base. And because there was 3 different colors, and it was all dark, you're in a laser tag place, and people would just see a fucking face floating in the yellow base.
I love it. It's literally my favorite thing. Like, I hate it, but I love it at the same time. Like,
right? Because
I don't want to walk into any room ever and there just be a fucking face there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do.
Yeah, because it's the thing that'll still scare you. It's the thing that's so like, ah! You know, you're like, ah! For those who are listening, I'm doing a face and going backwards while I do it. So it was adding a fun effect for Jay.
Ken and his bag of tricks.
Yeah, I got him. I got some tricks, man. I know how to get the giggles.
The gigs.
All right, so this next one's our longest story. So what is your name?
My name is Geraldine St. Joseph.
Okay. Oh, thank you. And do we have permission to use these stories on Other Dangerous Podcasts?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So, Geraldine, please tell us some of the things you've encountered.
Okay. So when I was young, I was born this way.
Okay.
So I've been around it my whole life.
Okay.
And when I was young, we had a ghost in the house who I used to call a silent ghost. You would hear somebody walking from the front of the house to the back of the house. They would stop at my bed, and you'd hear them go, like they were watching over me or something.
Yeah.
I figured out when I was older that it was actually a little boy who had died in the house. The house had caught on fire, and he hid it in a closet.
Oh.
So fast forward, I was about 12 when that happened. Fast forward to 1994.
Okay.
And I had a friend who went to a local Catholic college.
Okay.
And they were in the dorms, which used to be houses.
All right.
Now, in this house, apparently a young woman had committed suicide. And my friend was in that room. It was her and her.
Oh, okay.
Her, the person she was rooming with. So they started having like really crazy stuff happening.
Okay.
You know, like the window would close by itself. They would always wake up and all the lights would be on, even though they shut them off.
Right,
TV
right.
would turn on, change channels. And it got worse if the other girl was there by herself. It was almost like,
The other one was kind of like a buffer that would like kind of,
yeah, it really liked the one girl and not so much the other girl.
because the
I
other
don't-
one's energy, I guess, wasn't conducive to the
yeah, like
spirit or.
they reminded her of people is what we ended up figuring out.
Okay.
So I went and I had just read the book The Body Thief
Okay.
by, what is her name?
We can look it up later.
Yes,
It's okay.
The Body Thief with Lestat.
Okay.
And all that.
Yeah.
And so she gives you actual things to do in there to push a soul out of a body.
Okay.
I ended up needing that.
All right.
So I go, first I had asked in dream time, I'm like, all right, what's going on here? I got that it was a female. She had killed herself. It had been an accident. She was expecting someone to come and find her.
Okay.
And it all happened because her boyfriend like told her he didn't want to be with her anymore.
So it was a scorned lover kind of situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And she was 19. And so what ended up happening was she had called her friend upset
Mm-hmm.
and expected her to come, and then her friend did not show up. So
Hopelessness. Just,
that's
yeah.
how she died. And she was so distraught because she was like, you know, she didn't mean to die, and
Yeah.
she saw what it did to her mother.
Okay.
So what she wanted was, I'll go back a little bit.
Sure.
So the way she got woken up in this particular place was apparently her soul had been asleep for a while. Like
Okay.
ghosts will go into like hibernation almost
Okay.
if nobody's bothering them.
Okay.
Well, once it became a college, they did, you know, they used the Ouija board,
Right.
and they were playing, and this woke her up
Okay.
and infuriated her.
Okay.
So she would, what ended up happening at the college was the girls who lived in this particular place who were rooming there, their parents would get things on their answer machines of this girl hysterical crying. And this was a girls' dorm, so they couldn't tell whether it was their daughter or not. So they were always like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Screaming and crying, I'm so sorry, mommy, I love you, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So then that died down a little bit, and then my friend moves in, and I don't know what about them stirred it up.
Yeah.
And then I went and I said, look, there's something here. I know a girl committed suicide. And then we looked it up and we found out that all that was true.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like coming over me, like I just felt like being hysterical crying. And you feel it right between the eyes.
Okay.
When it's
In
your
the third eye area?
Yes.
Okay.
When it's your emotion, it comes up from the top of the chest into the throat.
Okay.
If something hits you between the eyes, do not
Don't play with it?
do not respond.
Okay. Yeah.
So I said, I am not going to cry, and immediately it left me. And it went to one of my friends. And she said, oh my God, I just feel like crying. And at the time I didn't know because this was the first ghost I
Right.
I said, then cry. And she burst into tears. During the course of the possession, the ghost name is Mary.
Okay.
She popped in and out over the course of 3 days.
Okay.
I was working with another psychic who was giving me all this misinformation, and it just didn't feel right to me.
Almost like snake oil salesman-y kind of stuff. Like, I
Yeah.
make money off this.
Yeah, like,
It's a
oh,
business.
You can't dispossess someone
So keep you on the hook. Keep
unless,
it.
it's only on Christmas Eve you could do this. And
Okay.
I've heard this before.
Okay.
And that if it was a suicide, they're in purgatory for 900 years. And I'm like, they don't even see time the same way we do.
Right. Exactly.
Like that's not,
Exactly.
that's wrong.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it lasted about 3 days, off and on. Different things happened. The girls' eyes went from brown to green.
Really?
Yeah, at one
Wow.
point they went from brown to green. You could always tell when Mary was in there. Mary was taller than the person she was inhabiting.
Okay.
So she always kind of was a lot more awkward
Okay.
when Mary was there. And all Mary wanted to do was eat
Okay.
and be around the boyfriend. But the girl said, you are not being with my boyfriend.
Damn.
We know when you're in here.
Yeah.
Don't you do that.
Okay.
So they had a little bit of agreement. The problem is that two souls can't inhabit the same body because it wears on the body. The
Yeah,
body
sure.
will eventually break down.
Too much electricity or whatever it
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, too much energy that most bodies can't handle it.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some people in the world who can, but most people cannot.
Yeah, Buddhist monks and things like that.
Yeah.
People more in tune to that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and you're trained. You like build
yeah,
up to it.
Exactly.
So what ended up happening was she had another housemate who was like across the hall from her. And I had taught them how to do the white light meditation to bring in energy
Sure, I'm familiar.
and so they could calm down and everything. So she goes to the girl next door, and Mary talked her into doing a meditation with her.
Okay.
But what-
So Mary inside of her talked.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the person's name I'm not going to give because
That's no.
but Mary was the ghost.
Yeah.
So Mary talked to this other person to, oh, come on, let's do this because
Yeah.
my body needs energy.
Mm-hmm.
So they did it, but what Mary did was she sucked all the energy out of the other girl.
Like an energy vampire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just sucked all the energy out of her. That poor girl suffered for 12 hours straight. She just stumbled into her room and went to sleep. I was pissed when I found out about that.
Right.
So then I came and I was like, you got to go. That's just.
You kicked the door in, your guns blazing.
Yes, I was like, you cannot.
Yeah.
You're not doing this. So my guide is Gabriel, Archangel
Okay.
Gabriel.
Cool.
So I've always asked Gabe what to do when I hit these different
I
circumstances.
like that you're on Gabe stance
Yeah,
with
it's
him. I
me
like
and
that.
Gabe.
Yeah.
He's been with me since before I was born.
Cool. Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was we got together. Mary did fight me on it. So I had to bring in reinforcements, so to speak.
Right. Okay.
So there were, I think, 4 or 5 college kids that were involved.
Okay.
And me. And then we pulled in the big guns. You call in Michael, you got Gabe going.
Oh yeah, you calling Michael? It's
You got Uriel, you got Raphael, and they each do something different.
Right.
And then we also, because the girl was Catholic also, Mother Mary came down and
Okay.
took her by the hand and took her up.
Okay.
So she finally crossed, because she was terrified of crossing over, because she thought for sure she was going to go to hell.
Because the suicide thing in the Catholic Guild?
Yes.
Mhm.
Even though, when we meditated on it, we asked what was going to happen, she saw what she saw as
Received.
the face of God. She received grace.
Okay.
So it was like, that's not going to happen, but she was still afraid of it.
Right.
So Mary came down, took her up. And then after that, it got even crazier. Because the girl who had been inhabited then...
It got even crazier. That tunes me in.
Yeah, it got even crazier. So during the time that she was possessed, I know I keep jumping back and forth, I'm sorry.
It's like a Quentin Tarantino movie. I love it.
Yeah, it was like in 1994,
Right.
so it's like trying to remember all this
Sure.
stuff. This was my first major encounter.
Okay.
When she was possessed with Mary, the phone was ringing in her room,
Okay.
and we were all together in the next room, and Mary just freaking out. She's like, don't answer it, don't answer it. And you could see them fighting in the body as to whether or not to go. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I'm like, go answer that phone. So they were like, okay. So they went and they answered the phone, screeched, dropped the phone, came running in, literally jumped into my arms. Now you could see I'm all of maybe 5'3".
Right.
And the girl was approximately my size.
Right.
But jumped
So you're
into my
doing
arms.
double duty.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what is happening? Yeah, she was so scared. I'm like, what happened? And she told me, she said, there was a demon on the line, and he said, I kill you. A demon's being sent against us. And I'm like, no, what are you talking? I said, we're in college. It's got to be some of the boys.
Right.
This can't be.
Yeah.
But after we crossed Mary over, she came back to warn us. She said, thank you. And she said, I need to warn you, that really was a demon. And someone really is targeting you and is going to try to kill you.
Wow.
So I'm like, well, what do I do with that? I have no idea where to go with
Well,
that.
what does anyone do with that? What can you do with that?
I'm like, oh my God. So several different things happened, and it happened very often, like when I was around other people.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was driving in my father's car. We were coming from an event like this.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 3 of us in the car. We're all sensitives. And all of a sudden, we felt the car being pushed from behind us.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh no. And I'm hitting the brakes and I'm trying to turn because we're heading straight for like
An embankment?
it was like a turn. We were like in Center City, Philly.
Oh, okay.
So it was like something like that, but it was not good if we hit
Yeah,
that. That
right,
would not
right,
have been
right,
good. So we stopped right before we hit it, but we did mess up the alignment.
And then you
because
kicked
of
the door
tires.
open and you fist fought the no.
No, I was
kidding.
like,
I'm kidding.
I'm going to figure out how to get you. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So they did stuff like that. Then I had a connection with a woman from Jamaica, and we had just spoken one time. She calls me out of the blue and she's like, Spirit tells me you need help. This is what you need to do. You need to get iron, ruby, you need to create holy water, you need to get a candle that's half black and half white. And she told me to do this whole ceremony. And she said, and you need to make sure you're always vigilant, that you're very aware.
Okay.
And then once you're done getting rid of this thing,
Yeah.
you have to then wear an ankh, a solid silver ankh, for the
Okay.
rest of your life, because
Hey.
that hides you.
Symbols, they do things.
Yeah. So I said, all right, I'm there with the other girl, and we're in her dorm. The second girl who lived in the dorm with her, she quit school. She left
Because of the incident.
because of the incident.
Wow.
'Cause it scared her so much. So we're standing there, and we can hear it coming. It sounds like the rumbling of a train. Now, mind you, we were on the second or third floor, but you could hear it coming.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're holding hands, and we have the candle going, and the blessed water, and all this other stuff. We're standing there, and it comes in through the window. Now, mind you, the window was closed, but the curtains go wild.
Yeah.
And suddenly, I feel the girl getting ripped out of my hand. She got thrown about 6 feet
Whoa.
against the wall. Bam. It barely touched my hair. I felt like wind passed me. So I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So what we figured out was we ended up doing the ceremony. I mean, we got her back up. I
Right.
protected us both. We got rid of it. What I figured out, you cannot be afraid
Oh yeah.
because it will target that.
Yeah.
And it's all in like the response and
Yeah.
how much faith you have.
Yeah. I mean, from my experiences, what I've dealt with a lot of this in my life. Yeah, the fear. So it always starts with like being upset, and then that will get an attachment, could linger,
Yeah.
goes into the fear, and they feed off that. And
Yeah.
entities will.
So what we did with this one, I didn't know how to completely disperse them at that time.
Okay.
So I did a go eat your master
Okay.
kind of thing because
Okay.
it was sent to kill me.
Right.
So I'm like, go eat your master kind of thing. And I just did this full reversal.
Yeah. Okay.
So we figured out who it was that sent it. Now she was fully protected,
Okay.
but her mother died and her husband almost died. He ended up in the
Wow.
hospital.
Wow.
So it was really powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I've always preferred eating them myself.
well, see, I didn't know how to do that at the time.
It's all about the strength. It's all about the faith, like you said.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, this has been great. And for one more time, say your name, please.
Geraldine St. Joseph, and I do have a couple books out on these.
Sure.
If you want to tell any of the stories that are my books.
Sure. If you want to,
Feel
name,
free.
you can name the books if you'd like.
It's called the Paranormal Activity Series,
Okay.
1 and 2. The first one is called What Are You Dealing With? And
Okay.
it tells you how to differentiate between types of entities.
Okay.
And Psychic Self-Defense for every day, what it is and why you need it.
All right, guys, check those out. And wow, thank you very much. I loved
You're
having you.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you can look me
Oh
up.
man, all right. So look, Geraldine St. Joseph. What a she's a sweetheart. She was
She's
she was
living a
little-
paranormal life.
Yeah, she was a little fireball, man. And I gotta tell you, I was going to do something at one point, and I saw her again in the cemetery, and I was like, "There's my girl, yo." Geraldine St. Joseph gave me the most solid high five I think I've ever been given in my life. She was like staring at the elbow, dude. It went slap. We both went up as I was like walking by.
Well, you may have been high-fiving the Archangel Gabriel.
I might have Gabe. It's Gabe.
Gabe, excuse me.
Yeah, no, she was awesome, man. She was cool, really good intention, it seemed. And I don't know her. I just had that one encounter and that story, but she was a sweetheart. And
Well, like we said, we're just here to listen to the stories, and hey, those sound like amazing experiences. If I
Yeah.
had them, I'd probably feel the same way.
yeah, and I would love to have been a fly on the wall there. And if anyone, you look her up, Geraldine St. Joseph, just picture her kicking a fucking door and battling demons. It's
Yeah, I mean,
good
she
time.
seems she don't even need the proton packs.
no, not at all, man.
She just got it.
She's got it, man. And I love to go eat your master. Like
I'd love to hear some more on this. Maybe we can get her on the show sometime, because I'd be interested. Seriously, I'd be interested to know. Like the silver ankh. That's kind of interesting to me, and
Yeah.
like what
Right.
what is behind that, or just a few of the other things she said. It's interesting.
Right. We were limited in time, but we also got the longest story there because, she, of course, she has more to say. So I would definitely, we got her card. I'll reach out to her and see if she wants to hop in.
I'd love to hear about her books too.
Yeah, exactly. But once again, Joan, if you're listening, thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you, and we'll reach out. We'll reach out, see if we can get you on here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got 2 more. Now this next one, Hannah, she was a little badass. Hannah.
Okay.
You were there actually. This is the only one you were there because I had to come around to the front. But yeah, Hannah, she was funny, man. She was funny.
Okay.
Oh,
right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, recording. Okay, what's your name?
My name's Hannah.
Hannah. And do we have permission to use your story on other pages?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Okay, so what do you got?
So my grandmother has been haunting my house.
Let me try to get in the sun for you. I'm sorry.
Since she passed away, we have realized that every time my sister or I would do something we weren't supposed to do.
Trying to get the sun, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No, it's me. I'm trying to help.
My grandmother would narc on us. She would turn our ceiling fan light on, or the fan itself that can only be operated by a remote that we keep in a drawer, and it's often dead.
Okay. So no batteries are in it?
Never.
Okay.
And it's every single time. She has been correct. And she's done it in front of me.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I was 18 and I was going somewhere that I shouldn't have been when my family was down at our shore house.
Okay.
And as I was walking out to leave, the light turned on in front of me. I nearly shat myself. I called my mother crying profusely that my grandmother just did this in front of me, and that I did not like that.
Yeah. Wow.
And it turns out my sister forgot something, so they were coming back real quick, and my mom was like, do you want me to talk to her? And I'm like, yeah, please. So she comes in and she's like, Mom, listen, Hannah's okay. My family is right down the road. We're just going to the shore. You're really scaring her. Can you please stop? And the light turns off. And she has done it to this day.
So she's always watching.
Always watching us.
These little jerks. They're always about
these
it.
little.
You could say it.
These little bitches. What are you, what the hell are you doing? Are you being stupid? And she's narked on my sister who now lives in Louisiana.
Right,
and she's
in
been
Louisiana,
correct.
she's narking.
Yes, she knows and she narked.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much. That was an awesome story. Thank you
very
so
much.
Thank you so much.
I love it.
Yeah. She was a little badass, man. She was talking, man. She was out there. I'm doing what I want. You don't know me.
Yeah. Grandma narking from the grave. She don't fuck around.
She didn't.
I love that story. That's hysterical, and I love her attitude towards it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, her attitude about it was the best, man.
Yeah. No. Really, really great.
Took a turn back to the Granny Ghost podcast. We're back in there. We're back there.
I mean, there it is. I mean, gotta have at least one.
Right.
No, that's good stuff because it's so relatable, but but at the same time, it's like it isn't, because how many other people are like, just my grandmother. If we try to fuck around, she, she fucks with electronics or the light and the fucking fan, and grandma's just not having it. So I love that.
Yeah, I love that. It's such a good story. And you know what? It was short, sweet, and it was just like to the point. She's like, "Let me tell you about my fucking grandmother." Like that was her attitude.
That night, grandma was probably fucking it was probably like a fucking dance club in her fucking room, just on and off, on and off. 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, right. Hannah, thank you so much. I hope you listen. I hope you hear this. We really appreciate it. That was
Thank
great.
you, Hannah.
We're on to our last one. And what is your name?
My name is Danielle, and my maiden name was Tomlinson.
Okay. As in Tommy Tomlinson?
Yes, but we're not related.
Okay, fair enough.
He would say we are, but we're not.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so do we have permission to use your story on Other Dangerous Podcast?
You do.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I grew up in a house that was known to be haunted. Okay. And I'm only going to tell you just one story.
Okay.
I have several. Okay, I'll pick this one.
Okay.
My parents had a closet that ran the entire length of their wall. And there was one single doorway on one side, my mother's side, and one single doorway on my father's side.
Ooh.
And they were connected. It was just one long closet and the rest of it was behind the wall. So being the youngest of 5 children, one time my sister was chasing me because she was going to kill me.
Okay.
So I ran into the parents' closet because that was a great way to escape.
Yeah, and get out the other end.
And get out the other end, stand in the middle, figure out where she is, whatever. So I go in my mother's side of the closet, and I'm in the middle of the closet, and I don't know which side she'll end up on.
Right.
So I hear her at my mother's side of the closet. So I run to my father's side of the closet to escape the door, and it slammed shut and remained shut, and I couldn't get out, but I could hear my sister at the other door.
So someone was apparently locking you in to feel the wrath of your sister at that point.
I think so. Is that amazing?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You don't have any of those you want to tell, or you want to?
I
Because
don't
that's a
know.
good one.
It is a good
We can stop with that one. I like that.
Probably the freakiest one when I was alone in my house was because it was a haunted house, and because I was the youngest of 5.
And I grew up in a haunted house, so I'm with you.
There are several, but probably the one that affected me as much as that one. There's 2 other ones that probably affected me so much. But this one I was in elementary school. Everybody else was gone from the house. The bus stop was right on the corner of my house.
Okay.
My dining room. I was so scared in my haunted house to be home alone in elementary school.
I get it.
I used to blow dry my hair in the dining room. It was a mirrored wall.
I get it.
And as
I had same one in my living room. I had a mirrored wall in my living room.
It was the 70s.
Yeah. Well, we still had the 70s style. It was the early 90s for me.
Oh,
But
because
yeah.
you're just a baby boy.
I am.
Just
I
a
am.
baby. So I'm flips upside down. I'm blow drying my hair. It's really like I'm always running late, so it's almost time to go. But as I'm upside down, I see that my sister left her social studies book, and it's on the dining room table.
Right.
And all I'm thinking is, as I'm upside down, but I can see it in the mirror, she's going to be in so much trouble because she forgot her book.
Right.
And from the center of the table, it just slid and dropped to the floor. And I ran out of the house. And my very next door neighbor, a super sweet boy named Lawrence Kolk.
Shout out to Lawrence.
Shout out to Lawrence. God bless him. I think he still lives in that house next door, by the way. I was so shaken up, and I'm in 5th grade, so I'm 10. And I'm so shaken up. Lawrence went back into my house to get my shoes and my whatever else I needed. I was scared to death. Those are just 2 little babies.
Those are very good. Thank you very
babies,
much.
Just babies. That was so much fun. Thanks for visiting.
Wow. So yeah, no, I love the whole ambiance of it. I grew up in a haunted house, so like I immediately, identified with that whole story and that whole process. Like I know what it's like to just have those like random stories. And she was being like, there's a couple, if you're interested, come on back and all those and yeah, you were saying the book on the table, man. Like,
yeah, no, the book on the table I really like because that's like a little moment for you, right? Like when you see that happen because you're focused on the book and then it moves, the ghost is like just fucking watching every fucking move you're making.
right, and it's just waiting for you to look away for 1 second to just get you. Or if you look back, you see it and it's even worse,
Right. Or it writes something on it's a hot breath, ghost breath on the mirror. And then leaves like a message like writes "run" in the mirror.
Yeah, she might have kept that one from us. That might have happened. But I did love the closet one, the going back and forth, because it's like you're in that space and it's like almost like just like it happens in movies all the time where you're like one side, and then like the hands come out and they clap on your head and you're fucking
or like from the movie The Gate when they're fucking hiding in the closet and then like the kid Terry's face comes out from between the clothes and like bites the girl's hand. She's like,
The Gate. Not enough Gate references or Steven Dorff references in this podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, Danielle was really cool, and her boyfriend and her husband were there, and they told me about another place in the local area. I forget the name of it. I have it saved, but I'll mention that later. But yeah, we were saying this was an experiment. We didn't know if it was how it was going to pan out, how it was going to turn out, and I think it was a smashing success.
Yeah, man, it worked out well, and I think that definitely, next time they have one, we can, absolutely, maybe see if we can advertise and let people know so they show up, ready to tell us their spine-tingling tales of the paranormal.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like people want to tell their ghost stories, and like we get like when we had a forum, and we were like, whoa, like. We had a good amount, but we picked the best ones that we of the bunch there, and people want to tell them, and we want to listen. So please keep sending us your ghost stories.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to to on your point just a little, I think it is great because, people see that someone wants to hear their ghost stories. Like, oh, they're not going to think I'm a freak. I could totally tell my story.
Exactly.
And when you're around like minds, people really will they want to tell it. And they you could see that they've like told this before, or at least rehearsed it in their head. Like, I'm going to tell my story. Let's do it. And,
Yeah, no, it was awesome too. Cause like everyone was so like forthcoming and like, you love to see it. And it's just good. It's cool to like share those moments with people. And like the whole time, like, and I would, before I started recording, even when you'll hear it in some of them, I'm like, here's what we do. And like, and I would try to like, I'm here. It's a comfortable, safe space. You can say whatever you want. I'm not going to think you're crazy. I grew up in a haunted house, like that kind of stuff.
Right.
It was just so awesome to do it. And,
sitting there amongst the graves kind of like set the scene, man. So it was like, you couldn't have a better, you couldn't ask for a better setting.
Yeah. And, you were saying too, also, earlier about Ryan, you hear him in some of the recordings.
Oh man, yeah, Ryan, that elusive creature. Like he was like Bigfoot that day. You didn't see him, and then all of a sudden he would just like walk, same kind of walk. You know what we mean, Ryan? Don't even fucking. Just he would just walk. He would just walk it out from between the trees, like, hey, what's up, Dad? Whoa! He's like, dude. He walks up. He's like, I just was like, relax.
Yeah, right.
I was like, we're all here to just hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, man, I was fucking with him a bit. He was trying to fuck with me, and like it was funny. But he was a good time. He was good. He was a good person to have around.
Yeah.
He was freaking out a bit, and I'd be like, "Hey, man, you all right?" He'd be
like,
"What?" I think at one point he was like, "What did he say?" He was like, "I feel like I'm on LSD when I'm around you." Because I was like, well,
"Yes,
okay,
he did."
Man.
He did say that, and I don't. With most of what Ryan says, you just have to be like, "Yeah, all right."
Right. Yeah, it was a good time fucking with him, and I hope he had a great time as well as everyone else. But yeah, I mean, this was an experiment, and we think it went well, and I think there's a certain party that might be coming up soon.
Yeah, well, I'm not ready to let that whole cat out of the bag yet. There's some some fun things occurring in the on this side of the microphone. But I'll probably be ready to talk about it for the rest, maybe the next episode. But yeah, we definitely want to do this again, and I think we want to do like a family edition of this because I know my family, almost all of my family members have like paranormal stories that are like they run the gamut. I have a crazy uncle who has these stories about a ghost in his guitar case.
What?
Oh yeah, it's my dad's brother.
Okay.
My uncle Gary.
Love that.
If we ever get him on this show, that's, I don't know, man. It's like I don't know. I would kind of liken it to like tigers at the circus. Like, yeah, that's awesome that's there, but any minute it could rip its trainer's face off. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I would liken like putting my Uncle Gary on this show.
Dude, we got to definitely do that. Maybe another event too. We'll definitely figure it out. But like, it was. Oh man, I had a great time at the event, and I always do every year I go. But this was like so cool, and hopefully we can maybe next year, plan it like I could plan it better and have a better recording set up, and not just like.
No man, this worked. No, yeah. I like this. It was like real. You know what I mean? You have all that ambience in the background. You can hear everyone talk. It's fine, but like, I like that there wasn't like a setup. Like it was just your recorder. I think that's fine. Honestly.
You think that works? That works good. Just
yeah,
like
I do because it like it like keeps you. It's not intrusive. It's just this thing in your hand. You're recording on the thing in your hand. They don't have to put fucking headphones on or like mic up or anything. It's just you're just there amongst the tombstones and you're just recording your story, and I think that works well.
And it's cool because I felt like a beat reporter. I was like getting James on the beat. Like what do you got here, kid?
Yeah, man? You were playing out some kind of like fantasy or something. Did you have your press hat and you had like the press card stuck in like the?
I wish I could have, but it was way too hot. It was.
I'm just saying in your head. Were you like Kermit the Frog here for?
Yeah. I was a Kermit the Frog here for Laurel Hill News. Piggy,
was that your Kermit the Frog or your Josh Gates? I can't tell.
They're one and the same.
They're one and the same.
Yeah. But right. I mean, I think we said as much as we can say about it. It was a great time. Once again, I want to thank everyone that submitted their stories. I hope they're listening.
Yes. Thank you so much.
And if you got anything else to add, please email us, otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com.
Even if you want to tell us that we suck, we'll read that on air.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
That is great. We'll take that. We'll run with that. We'll have a great day.
Yeah. We did miss a story, though. We did miss a story. I just want to put it out there because he's one of our loyal listeners. Sam had a story, but he didn't get a chance to record it. Sam will get you for the next one. Sam looked cranky because it was hot.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, his calves were looking great that day.
Yeah, I heard a few compliments on Sam's legs. So Sam, shorts more. That's the
more shorts, Sam. Plan that out.
I'm gonna get some shit for that.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's me saying it. It's me. You're just adding. You're following up.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It is fine.
All right, guys. I mean, with that being said, I think for this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, I'm Ken James.
And I'm Jason McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.